Good evening, everyone. Time is 6 p.m. We're going to call this meeting to order. First things first is the approval of the agenda. The motion is that the agenda for the council meeting of March 2026 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Ray Young and Councillor Tracy Young, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Any declaration of interest tonight? Councillor Kirkby?
I'll declare a declaration on staff report 19/2026 on the South Grenville minor hockey section.
Okay. Make sure that's right. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Anyone else? Nope. Thank you, Justin. All right, no presentations or delegations tonight. We do have 2 minutes that we should approve. First one was the special council minutes dated March 2nd. If they could be accepted as presented. Can I have a mover and seconder for that? Councillor Burton and Councillor Campbell, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And then that the regular council minutes dated March 2nd be accepted as presented. Mover and seconder, Councillor Kirkby and Councillor McConnell. Thank you. All in favor?
Oh.
Huh?
That's
That's the council minutes.
Yes, the section where we had talked about the holding provision, and I had asked for a recorded vote.
Yep.
That's been corrected and resent to council and reposted to the website.
Okay.
You should have received it this afternoon.
Okay, I was work.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All in favor? Carried, thank you. No communication or petitions tonight. And no council information package for this meeting, which is odd. We did.
One next.
Okay. Any committee reports? None? Okay. So then the mayor report from the last 2 weeks. We had a joint services committee meeting 2 weeks ago, followed by then a St. Lawrence Lodge meeting where we're working on the agreement. Just updating the agreement, just to let everyone know. And then after that, I went to the cabin. They had a big announcement there 2 weeks ago where they're having a $12 million expansion and they got some money from the government. So looking really good. Lots of positive news for them in the future. So they look very busy. Last week, Michael Barrett had a passport clinic right here on this floor. They had over 100 passports applied for. There had to be well more than that here, probably 150 people here. So it was very well done, very well organized. This time they had photographers because the first time they did it, people just showed up empty-handed. You know, here I am, can I get a passport? It's like, oh, no, it doesn't work like that. So this time they were very well prepared and almost able to help everybody. Last week, there was a presentation at the golf club by Beacon Bags where they had a human trafficking survivor as a guest speaker. Tough subject for everyone to absorb. A few tears were shed, I'm sure, during that whole presentation. There was a lot of people there from all over, so it was well attended and good for us to learn more about what's happening along that 401 corridor. And then, as everyone here can attest, we were all at the Tri-Council meeting last week as well. So having said that, I'll move around the table. Deputy Mayor Young, you're up first.
Thank you. I don't think I have anything else to report. I did attend the Tri-County, as you mentioned, but that's it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councillor Tracy Young?
Thank you, Mayor Shanekar. On March 5th, I attended the International Women's Day hosted by Leeds and Grenville Small Business. It was held out at North Grenville. And the Lifetime Achievement Award went to Sue Olette, who was with Sue Gold Jewelers.
Right.
So she spoke about her time in Prescott and how that all kickstarted her business. So that was nice to hear. Saturday, went to the Prescott Figure Skating Ice Show. I think Councillor Young was there and Councillor Burton and Councillor Kirby, everybody was there. It was really good. A really great community event. Young and old and celebrating the local skaters, so it's nice to see everybody out. Reminder that the BIA AGM is March 31st, so if you own or operate a business in Prescott, please make your plans to attend because your ideas will help us influence our next chapter there. And the Economic Development and Tourism newsletter for March is out, and it is jam-packed full of information from pop-up applications to business anniversaries, funding initiatives, all kinds of good stuff. So that's everything for me. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor McConnell?
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. Quite obviously, I haven't attended any board meetings, but then again, I haven't had any boards that have met, so it hasn't been any great loss there. But I would like to comment, if I could. We have an application for a grant for work in our downtown, and I forget what that grant is actually called, or the application. But as I've been traveling around down here, I've noticed several communities that have done substantial work in their downtowns, and their downtowns actually look very nice with the vegetation, wider sidewalks, parking. So when we get to the point where we're going to be discussing that, which will be when I get back, I think I have some interesting comments that I can offer there. And if I could, I'd like to ask you a question. When you mentioned St. Lawrence Lodge, right after that, you said something else, which unfortunately didn't come through. It had to do with a grant or something. Could I ask you to repeat that, please?
Sure. That was Cabins. So they had an announcement there on that day and they had an open house. So Cabins are the guys that do the prefab buildings.
Oh, yes. Right.
And they got some money from the provincial government as well.
Okay, I did see that. I think it was 12 million or something like that.
12 million is their portion. They got about 400,000 from the government.
I see. Well, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Councillor Burton.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. The library, we have a new website. It's www.prescottlibrary.ca. So there it's up and running and working well. The book sale was a huge success. They ended up selling over 4,000 items in the library after reading through all the books and items there. March break this week, so the lots going around the library. It's drop-in arts and crafts, boards, games, Two Faces, Dungeons and Dragons. Then we have a mosaic class creation that they're doing on Wednesday. Warhammer, I'm not too sure what Warhammer is. I think it's a board game from 15-year-old to 18-year-olds. We're having a barbecue on Friday with hot dogs, and Friday's also our movie day up here in the Grand Room as well. Prescott Skating Club, huge success, and love to see the different skaters coming out from different municipalities. And yeah, I think I was talking to Joan Hubbard, and she said on Saturday alone, when I was there, she said over 300 participants. 300 people came to the rink, and that was just adults.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can imagine with all the skaters and stuff that it'd be well over 400. And our AGM for Shakespeare is also next week as well. It's at Renegades at 7 p.m. on March 30th.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Campbell.
You, Mayor Shankar. I attended the fire admin meeting on March 3rd. March 18th, which is coming up, they're going to be doing a first aid plus course. So they're pretty adept at first aid, obviously, but they're going to look into scenarios, different kinds of accidents, potentially looking for medical alert bracelets on people rather than just rushing in and assuming one catastrophe or another. So that's what they're doing. After that meeting, they're going to review all their medical bag contents on trucks. Permanent CO2 monitors are going to be installed at the Leo. due to the different users that we have there now. They had their food drive on Saturday, March 7th from 9 to 3. And that was a combination of Prescott, Edwardsburg Cardinal, and Augusta firefighters. At your independent grocer, they raised $1,514.75. Giant Tiger raised $1,238.50 for a total of $2,753.25, which equaled 1,800 pounds of food. So someone's plugging that. They're going to be attending our trade show at the Leo on April 23rd, 24th, and 25th with a booth. March 17th, oh, that's tomorrow, from 10 to 11, the early years group's going to take their trip to the fire hall. And on March 31st, they're going to have a retirement event for John Houston and a celebration event for Brent North.
Where are they having that?
Probably the fire hall.
Well,
That's it. Well, I attended the Tri-County.
okay. Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Kirkby.
Through you, Mayor Shankar. Let's start with operations. Lots of pothole patching going on. The winter wonderland items. The staff didn't waste time once the ground thawed out and stuff. They removed all the items there. And then truck 14 got arrow board. So when they're working on Main Street or wherever, they actually have one of the big arrows on the back so traffic can see to go around them. And they ordered the new tractor that will serve lots of functions at the new Seymour Recreation Fields and down at the beach and all throughout town. And then as far as community stuff, I wanted to touch a couple things. One is there's lots going on during March break, and I might have got a plug of this just before I came into council, but there's public skating Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, sponsored by Duran and Consulting Inc. and also Irving H. Miller. Tomorrow there's art in the Grand Room up here with Christine Sloan. There's open gym on Wednesday down at the Leo. And then something that's really cool is meet the operations crew Thursday at the barn, at the operations building. It's like touch a truck. And that starts at 9 and goes to 11. So hats off to Prescott and staff and the sponsors in the community for, making this available to the youth in town. And then I attended the Tri-Council Community Grant Group with Ray and Mary. We put some hours into that since last meeting. And I also attended the Prescott Figure Skating Show, which was well attended both days. I think it was very successful for them at the door. So glad to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you. Where can they find that information on all the events?
So it's on the Town of Prescott Community Service Facebook page, right? And I've shared it a few times on my counselor page. It's always good to put that out there.
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor McConnell?
Thank you, Mayor Shanker. I was wondering if I'd ask a question of Councillor Kirkby or Matt Locke, whichever one is capable of answering. The new tractor, is that in addition to or a replacement of?
So it's a large, Justin is pointing
It's
at
the
me.
big one.
So we do have a tractor currently that we use to rake the beach. So it is replacing that tractor, but it's also a larger size and can do a number of other functions. So it's a bit of column A and a bit of column B. So we will be getting rid of the old tractor, but this tractor is larger and serves more function than the current tractor.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone for that. We're going to move on to staff reports. We have quite a few of them today. I think there's 6 or 7. So we have 7 of them. The first one is staff report 13-2026, a site plan control for 198 Georgina Street and 898 Florence Street. Our planner, Tim Fisher, is going to give us some more information. Tim, the floor is yours, sir.
There I am. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, this is an information report in regards to a site plan application. This is an application for an expansion of some self-storage units. Ken Beck is the owner, and they've already built 2 buildings with multiple units. They're pretty much sold out. They're looking at expanding to provide more service for the town of Prescott. What they're looking at doing is having a staged plan where they would put one more building in, and then as the demand is there, they'll put the another building, and then finally the third building. So what they're looking at doing is adding 3 new buildings to the existing 2 storage buildings that they have. They did provide us with a site plan drawing, a draft reference plan, grading plan, stormwater management, and some engineered drawings in regards to the storage buildings themselves. As you could tell on this drawing that's up on the screen, you can see the 2 existing storage buildings right on the right-hand side. And then along the southern portion is where they're looking at putting the 3 new units. The storage area will be encased with a perimeter fencing, like a chain link fence. We did speak to the owner in regards to trying to give a little bit of privacy and screening to the adjacent residential uses. And they've agreed to put on a mesh membrane that goes along the southern portion and just a little bit of the western portion. There we go. That will show it. So along the southern portion, and then along the western side of the security fence next to that internal driveway, and the screening will go about halfway up there just to help with the screening. Let's see, we did look at the official plan. This is very similar to another application that we were looking at, where it is in that rural, or I shouldn't say rural, the R1 special policy area where there's a mixed residential / industrial use. So we have to find that happy medium between the residential and industrial uses in this area. So that's why the screening was put in place here. It is a little unique where it is backing onto the CN rail, and also there is another quasi-industrial use right across the street on the southern side of Georgina. Let's see. So in looking at those policies, we did look at the site functioning. We did look at the stormwater management. The plan did show that there was going to be no negative impacts onto the adjacent properties, and that they would use existing drainage ditches and such that is there. There was no need for a photometric plan, so a lighting plan. However, we put in some standard wording in regards to lighting, and if there's any negative impacts onto adjacent land uses, we will have them address those matters. The scale of development is very small in nature. It is fitting within the area. It's not really a major impact on the residential land uses as noise, odors, that sort of thing. So it's very low impact on the residential uses, and also on potential residential uses on the eastern side, which is Prince Park. Screening, again, we did look at screening. We asked them for the mesh on the fence. There really is no room for landscaping material. However, the owner is always, if they want to add some landscaping, we're more than happy to see additional landscaping somewhere on the property. Noise and vibration. Again, typically we would be asking for a noise and vibration study, but however, based on the use, we wouldn't be asking for it because there isn't any anticipated major noise and vibration issues in regards to storage units. Road access. The road access is still going to be maintained off of Florence Street and Georgina Street. The the storage unit itself has a gated security gate right at the end of Georgina Street. Plus, they also have an internal gate within the compound itself. The rest of the site still going to maintain a driveway off of Georgina as well, which is in between the storage unit and the residential at the corner. And also they have another driveway which comes off of Florence Street where the construction office or professional office is on the northern portion of the site. Snow storage, again, snow storage isn't a major concern here. There is lots of area in order for it to be stored and also removed off site. Parking, there is no major requirements in regards to parking here. There's definitely parking within the internal site to accommodate temporary parking. It's not going to interfere with the existing northern use as well. Typically, again, the use of this type of development is where people would just come, park where they're going to be loading or unloading their personal belongings in their units and then leaving the site. Again, phase development, the owner has an opportunity through phasing to either, based on demand, build all three all at once, or if they want to, they can just do one at a time. We'll leave that up to the individuals, and we have some special wording again within the site plan agreement that deals with that. When we take a look at zoning, this is in the M2 light industrial zone. The plan that they provided us complied with all of the minimum setbacks, the height requirements, that sort of thing. So there was no major concerns in regards to zoning compliance. So in regards to that, staff prepared a draft site plan agreement. We did provide the owners with a copy to review. They did provide us written comments back that they are happy with it and they'd like to see this proceed and begin development as soon as possible here. In regards to the actual agreement itself, again, very boilerplate. It's a very small scale development. We have our standard clauses in there in regards to what they are required to fulfill under the obligations under the town. Normally in a development, we would be asking for securities. However, in this case, because the project is very small in scale, there really isn't a point to ask for securities because the security amount would be so small. What we've done is we've just added in a basic comment that says if we have to go in and finish the project or finish a portion of it, that those funds would be then placed or they're required in order to pay those fees. And if they don't pay them, that to be put on taxes. And usually it's whatever the cost is plus I believe it's 15%. Again, they are required to get a building permit through after the site plan agreement is registered. And I guess I'm here if you have any questions in regards to the agreement itself or with the plan. But again, this is for information only, and I'm just happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Thank you, Tim. I'm going to check around the room, see if there's any questions. Doesn't look like any. I do have one question. This doesn't affect any neighbors, like no neighbors had any complaints or anything?
No, so no, we've received no comments from the outside or from the public.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. You're good to go.
Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. So we're gonna move on to staff report 14-2026, delegation of authority, the lame duck. Motion is that council enacts bylaw 17-2026, being a bylaw to delegate certain authorities to the CAO for certain acts during the lame duck period for the corporation of the town of Prescott, and the bylaw shall come into force only in the event if it is determined by the municipal clerk or delegate with certainty that less than 3/4 of the current members of council will be returning to sit on the new council. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Burton and Councillor Kirkby, any discussion? Ms. Chloe, can you just explain that second paragraph?
Yes.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to council. As council is aware, we are approaching the nomination period for the 2026 elections. There is 2 periods for which lame duck or the delegation of authority, when council loses your ability to make certain types of decisions, if 75% of you are not returning to your exact positions. And so the examples that I gave in the report are that the provision within the act is that you must be returning to your existing seats or your existing position. So even if 5 of you are running, but all 5 of you are running for mayor, we would go into what's called a lame duck, because only one of you would be able to become mayor in the new scenario, and therefore only one of you would retain a council seat in the new council for the new term of, or potentially in the new term of council. And so therefore, the act makes provisions that during certain times that the election is a period of deliberations and active campaigning, which is from the end of nomination period, nomination day of August 21st until the new council. And that's determinant of what you decide to run for. And then the second period is from the end of voting day until the new term of council is set. So whether or not you retain your seats in the new council. So there's 2 kind of provisions. One is, what are you running for, and do we have the potential for you to return? And then the second is, after voting day, did 75% of you retain your seats? And will that compromise, or will that be the composition rather of the new council? And so this bylaw only takes effect if the lame duck period begins, and if we end up with 75% of you in both of those periods that will be returning to your seats, then this bylaw will never come in, like this will never be actioned. So it's in case, it's on the shelf, already signed, sealed, and delivered in case we need it.
Perfect. Councillor Kirkby?
Through you, Mayor Shankar. So if one person at the current table here is not running, we would still be good.
Correct.
But if 2, then it goes into a lame duck from
August 21st.
So it's August 21st to November 14th, which then means, in layman words, that there would be no real big decisions made here. Can you explain what decisions would be considered, or somewhat?
So it's the appointment, and so it's only the 4 elements that are covered under the act that council wouldn't retain the ability to do in that period. So one is the appointment and removal of officers from the municipality. So we wouldn't be able to change any of our officer composition. The hiring and dismissal of employees. Your council's employee is the CAO. And the disposition of real or personal property, which has a value exceeding 50,000, or expenditures incurring a liability that exceeds 50,000. So it's really any of the decisions that have to do with those 4 items wouldn't be able to happen. Other business could occur as usual.
Perfect.
Councillor
McConnell?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Shank.
Oh. Go ahead.
Pardon? Does somebody have something else?
No, there was someone else had their hand up, but I wasn't sure who it was.
Okay. Chloe, does that also cover not committing the town of Prescott to any financial commitments over $50,000 down the road, or contracts or anything like that?
That is correct, unless they were already covered within the approved budget.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Armstrong?
So a good example would be if the municipality was in a lame duck situation and you wanted to buy a piece of property that you couldn't live without and it was $100,000. Then according to the act, council can't make that decision, but they can make that decision through the delegation. So it doesn't allow me to go and buy a $100,000 piece of property, but at yours, you would provide me the direction to go and do that, and that would allow me to do it.
Okay. It just seems,
Yeah.
I mean, it comes out of your pocket?
We'll be spending, eh?
And I think, so this is actually my third time doing the lame duck process. I think we've only gone into lame duck once, and in that time, all decisions still came back to council. They made the decision. It was just enacted slightly different.
gotcha. Okay, good. Thanks for explaining that. Any further questions? Then I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, the next staff report, sorry, the next is it's staff report 15-2026 is the use of corporate resources policy. So the motion is that bylaw 18-2026 being a bylaw to adopt a use of corporate resources policy for the corporation of the town of Prescott be read and passed, signed by the mayor and clerk and sealed by the seal of the corporation. Mover and seconder for this one, Deputy Mayor Young and Councillor Campbell. Chloe, do you want to talk about this at all?
Sure. As council is aware, for those of you who are returning members and for those who are at the table for the first time this term, there was an existing use of corporate resources policy for when you ran for council last time. This is about the use of the town's resources during the election and during the campaigning period and what is permitted and what is not permitted. You should see similar reports rising to our neighboring municipalities because the clerks of Leeds and Grenville got together and we wrote one that matched and had them reviewed so that everything was kosher with the legislation. And that it covered all of the elements that had come up in different municipalities so that we could have kind of one set of rules that governed everyone running for council across the board, so that there wasn't one set of rules in one municipality and another so that we had the same set of guidelines in place. And that is our recommendation going into this election so that we can have continuity and consistency amongst our policies.
Great, thank you. Any questions about that? Councillor Kirkby?
Through you, Mayor Schenker. Not so much on this. This really makes sense, to be honest. But this came up in the previous, and it was just hearsay, so I'll ask it now. Maybe you know the answer, maybe you don't. But as far as councillors like myself that have a Facebook page, social media presence that we run ourselves, does that fall under anywhere in this?
No, but that is subject to the rules of this policy.
Right.
So for example,
go ahead.
If you were to be wearing in your cover photo on that Facebook page, a beautiful Town of Prescott sweater that had the logo that indicated that you were an existing member of council or anything that kind of had that official emblem or a pin, that would have to be removed for the duration of the election period because not all candidates have the same ability to have that perception with the candidacy of the town.
But anything previously shared or any pictures would not be an issue, correct?
So from May 1st on?
From the day that your paperwork is filed when you become a candidate.
So you can put pretty much anything you want on there until then?
I would not.
Sorry.
I don't know if I would use that.
That's a little broad.
Falling within the guidelines of the code of conduct.
Would not make that recommendation.
Councillor McConnell?
Thank you, Mayor Schenker. I think maybe a little more to the point is we attend various functions, ribbon cuttings over the course of the spring, the summer. we quite often wear Town of Prescott t-shirts, with the emblem on. From May 1st, when we're attending those functions, should we not wear those shirts?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor McConnell, the policy does contemplate that council is to be able to exercise your regular duties of council. And so I would not say that you cannot wear any Prescott clothing or insignia that identifies you. If that were what you would normally do, it's how you utilize the material that is produced from that ribbon cutting that would be subject to the rules. So for example, if you were going to use the photo taken at the ribbon cutting on your campaign page or in any of your campaign materials, that would be where we may not have a kosher usage of a photo that has that in it. But certainly you are not prevented or precluded from still carrying out your regular duties.
Oh, thank you.
Could you wear a Vote Shankar shirt during the cutting?
Any further questions with this? All right, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone. Next is staff report 16-2026. It's the HR policy update performance reviews. Motion is that council approve and adopt the updated HR 500-03 policy performance review policy and associated evaluation form. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kirkby, Councillor Campbell. Chloe, do you want to just give us a little summary on this?
As council is aware, we've been doing some review and overhaul of some of the HR policies within the town. One that had received some comments and requests for updating was the performance review policy. The existing policy contemplates an evaluation form that is in excess of 10 pages long. And so staff went and undertook an exercise to review neighboring policies as well as trends in HR about how best to accomplish performance reviews. This new policy and the associated evaluation form are a much more condensed version of what we had and contemplate a process that includes both managers' input as well as staff's input and really focus on what the employee relationship looks like with the town in a long-term capacity and how we can mutually benefit one another and how we can help to grow the success of an employee within our organization. And so that was the focus and crux of what we were looking to achieve in this new policy. The other note that council may see in the policy is that the major contemplation is the timing. And so with this policy, we're looking to have all evaluations completed at the same time for all employees within the same cycle, as opposed to in the previous iteration of the policy, we looked at the anniversary of employees upon their anniversary date of their start. And the reason for this is so that we could look at long-term projections for budgeting, as well as have a performance review period that was for the entire organization. And then we could better accomplish the organization of setting them up and administering them and making sure that we could keep on top of tracking them too. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Preston. Any questions for our clerk? Councillor Campbell.
Through you, Mayor Shankar. Ms. Preston, going up the line, staff, then their managers evaluate their staff. But does council evaluate the CAO and treasurer role?
So, as council is aware, the reporting structure of the CAO was slightly modified with the Strong Mayors legislation. And so, effective May 1 of 2025, the CAO, while formally reporting to all of council, truly reports to the mayor. And so the obligation to complete the performance review would be at the mayor's discretion. Mayor Shankar has not specifically indicated that he would not follow this, but I assume he would be happy to follow a similar procedure and seek input from members of council.
Okay, so the last half of your sentence there, seek input from council, would be up to the discretion of.
That's correct. It is not a requirement. It would be at the discretion of the mayor. Okay.
The last time we did a review was with Councillor Lockett and myself. That was probably halfway through after 2 years we did it. So probably do it again anew or before.
Really up to you.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out.
So, excuse me, so you would potentially use one member of council to,
Yeah, because she was head of finance and like they were doing finance,
okay.
so that's why we did that.
okay, thanks.
Okay, anyone else have questions? About HR, Paul? Okay, all in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, next up is staff report 17-2026, statement of remuneration and expenses for council members for 2025. The motion is that council receive staff report 17-2026 for information as the annual disclosure of 2025 remuneration and expenses paid to members of council as per section 284 of the Municipal Act. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Burton, Deputy Mayor Young. Matthew, do you want to just run through this?
Thank you very much. So this is a mandatory reporting that we have to do on a yearly basis as per section 284 of the Municipal Act. Has to be done before March 31st, which is why we're bringing it this evening. Nothing really all that exciting between this one and prior years. Really, it's the one column is for the honorarium. The second column is for expenses, registrations, travel, meals, that sort of thing. And so goes through councillor by councillor, and the total is at the bottom. More than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Any questions of Mr. Armstrong? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. All right, next up is staff report 18-2026. It's the 2025 drinking water system and wastewater system annual reports. The motion is that council accepts the Prescott drinking water system and wastewater system annual reports for 2025. Can I have a mover and seconder for that? Councillor Tracy Young and Councillor McConnell. Mr. Locke, you want to give us a little update on that?
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. Yeah, so similar to the last report, this is a provincial requirement that we bring it forward to council, and in fact also that we post it to the town website for public distribution. So looking at our water report first, just to give a quick background of the system and how it works. So there's an intake pipe that runs out into the St. Lawrence directly in front of the water plant. So we draw water in, it comes through a mechanical screening process first, then it's chlorinated. We add a coagulant, it's stored in tanks to filter out impurities. It runs through sand filters, and then it's chemically treated, and then it's ready for distribution. So it's sort of a multi-stage process. We then have 4 pumps in the water treatment plant. They send it out to the system and into our new water tower, which went online in late 2024. So we now have a capacity of 4,200 cubic meters of water available from that water tower. For our water system, the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks completed an inspection in February of 2025. We received 100% final inspection rating. We also completed an external audit in March of 2025, and there were no issues found. Looking through our reporting record throughout the year, we had 1 adverse quality incident that we had to report. However, that adverse reporting came as a result of cross-contamination in the sampling cooler. So it was an error in doing the actual testing. And so all of the resampled tests met compliance. We also had 8 public complaints received by residents throughout the year, all of which were addressed by staff, and no follow-up was required on any of those items. We had 6 water main breaks throughout the year. 3 of them occurred on King in between Van Conant and Russell. Obviously, we've identified that as a problem. We'll be replacing that section of water main later this year. And then we had 1 break each on Edward, Irvine, and Duke. We have a number of maintenance projects, including a filter upgrade project that's still ongoing, should be completed within the next 6 weeks. We did backwash tank and alum tank cleaning. We rebuilt 3 pumps. There's been the implementation of a cap door system for backwashing, along with a number of other items identified in the report. And then just to speak to water capacity, we are operating well below our available capacity. The plant is rated for a flow of 8,200 cubic meters. In 2025, the daily average was a little over 2,300, about 28% of the plant's capacity. And if you look at our maximum daily flow rate, we were at just shy of 4,300 or 52% of the plant's capacity. So we see some real change due to the golf course, I believe, is the biggest change seasonally. But even when they're running at full capacity, we hit 52% of our available capacity. So there really is a lot of additional water available in our system. Looking at wastewater, we operate a Class 3 treatment facility. We bring raw sewage in. And so our current system, long story short, it ends up in sequence batch reactors, SBRs. You'll hear that term a lot as we work through our wastewater treatment plant expansion. So the plant currently has 3 of these concurrent SBRs. When the plant was constructed, there's room for a 4th. The intention of that wastewater treatment plant expansion project is to add that 4th reactor, essentially adding additional capacity to the plant. The way our plant works, at the end, once they're in those reactors, we're aerating that sewage. And so eventually what you end up with is water that gets sent to a UV treatment supply and then mechanically separated sludge. And so there is holding tanks and drying beds at that plant. So basically this nutrient-rich sludge comes out of the sewage. We sent 3,600 cubic meters of that sludge away to Waste Management, take it, or GFL? GFL took it. So they actually use it in agricultural processes. So you put it on soil because it's nutrient dense. And then the treated water at the end of the treatment train. A few years ago, a gray water system was installed. So they actually capture as much of that water and use it for plant processes as possible. And then whatever they can't use is then sent back to the St. Lawrence. And so, again, when we talk about capacity, the plant is rated for 4,728 cubic meters a day. The daily average was just over 3,000, so 64% of the plant's capacity. So even before we go through this expansion, there is quite a bit of capacity available within our plant as it stands today. And so I know we've talked about a number of projects over the last 6 months, new businesses, homes being converted into multi-units, things like that. There is plenty of water and wastewater capacity within our system for any and all of those projects that you see. We're really in a healthy place when it comes to capacity for both water and wastewater. Again, looking at the system, there's no major issues of non-compliance, community complaints, or bypass events within the wastewater system. We had 2 overflow events within our wastewater system. This is when you have too much water in the system, and so it sends water out into the river rather than making its way to the plant. Both of these occurred at pumping station number 3, and they were caused by heavy rain. We do have an old system, and so as we do these full street rebuild, like what we did at East Street last year, we're separating the sanitary sewer from the storm sewer. There are parts of our system where stormwater still gets into the sanitary service. And so anyway, both of these events were caused by too much rainwater flowing into the sanitary sewer. One of the objectives of the wastewater treatment plant expansion is that we will be upsizing our pumps at the sanitary pumping stations in Prescott. That will give them a greater capacity to pump water, which will cut down on these overflow events. So overall, both systems are in very good shape. Both water and wastewater operating well below the maximum capacities and operating without major issues. Excellent operation and maintenance by the town staff and by the Ontario Clean Water Association staff in 2025. And Matthew and I are happy to answer any questions about the report.
Thank you, Mr. Locke. Any questions about our water? Deputy Mayor Young?
That was a great summary, Matt, of 40 pages of numbers and charts and everything, but the bottom line is both systems are running properly and we have capacity for the future.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no further questions, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. All right. Next up is staff report 19-2026. It's the 2026 community grants intake number 1. The motion is that council approves 2026 grant allocation recommendations for intake 1, totaling $52,000 in financial support and the in-kind requests as outlined in staff report 19-2026. Mover and seconder, Councillor Burton, Deputy Mayor Young. Matthew, go ahead.
So thank you very much. Over the last couple of weeks, since our last meeting, I believe, the working group had an opportunity to work with Samantha and sit down and review all of the applications and really come up with the recommendations that you see before you this evening. So that working group was Councillor Campbell, Councillor Kirkby, and Councillor Ray Young, and so, or Deputy Mayor Ray Young. And so that is kind of the basis of the recommendations. Not dissimilar to last year in terms of the ones that we see from year to year. More than happy to answer any questions there might be. And then it's broken down into the financial as well as the in-kind. And so it gives you a good indication of what we're basically giving away for free, whether that's foregone revenue or an increase in expenses to cover some events, that sort of thing. So as I mentioned, more than happy to answer any questions, but the working group would probably be able to answer those better than that.
Okay, I just want to thank the working group. You know, I see you guys met twice, probably a couple hours each time, so not easy decisions to make there, and also trying to balance it between the different needs. So thank you to you guys for doing that. You had your hand up, Councillor?
I did. I was just going to point out that we did spend most of 4 hours looking at the number. And while 5 groups made a presentation, excuse me, to the Tri-County meeting, we did deal with 21, I think it was, applications for money. We were given a budget to work toward, and we came in well under that budget. But we did spend a lot of time talking about each one, and it's difficult to compare
Apples and oranges?
Well, yeah, because, you know, minor hockey versus whatever, you know, minor hockey and figure skating are easy to compare. But there were several others, Spirit of Giving, Food Bank, you know, all of the requests, most of the requests were reasonable. And we understood what they were trying to do, but we didn't support them all to the tune that they wanted.
Right.
Some we reduced considerably, some we reduced marginally, and this is the report that you have.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Young. Lee, did you have your hand up earlier?
No, I just had an itchy top of my head, but thank you anyway.
I just like caught it out of the back of my side of my eye. Councillor Burton, then Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. Thank you for the subcommittee. I think it's important that we recognize all their hard work too and appreciate their hard work. And, you know, not every community has community grants, right? We're pretty lucky that our community, our municipality provides community grants and helping our community people and all these groups. And it's nice to see. Years ago, we never used to do this, show the in-kind and the expenses that we as a municipality have. You know, rental of our chairs and, you know, that's staff time and the tables and, you know, the amphitheater, 21,600, you know, the rental cost and the grand room. I mean, these are all costs to the municipality that we are waiving the fees for to help our community out. So I just wanted to point out that, and you know, even though some organizations may have not received exactly what they asked for, the ask was, but at least we were able to help them as much as we could. So I appreciate that, and because we always want to help out our community as a council and a municipality. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Burton. Councillor Campbell.
Since we had the Tri-County meeting on March 12th, I think we all gleaned more information from the groups that were presenting. And I was hoping if people were interested around the table to pull the Prescott Family Health Team and just have a discussion about their ask. But it's up to council members that weren't on our community grants committee. I found, do you want me to go into details about, well,
No, so I think where we go from here is you want to make an amendment to the motion, correct? Because we've got a motion on the table
right,
to accept this recommendation. You want to rediscuss one of the 21 items. In order to do so, you're gonna have to make an amendment, get a seconder, and then get the vote of council.
okay,
Is that what you want to do?
yes, please. Chloe, can you help?
Yes. So the proposed amendment would be that the main motion be amended to remove the Prescott Family Health Team allocation. And I just wanted to pull the in-kind because the recommendation didn't contemplate a financial contribution, but it did contemplate a in-kind contribution. So if we're amending it properly, apologies. The $360 in-kind allocation to be considered separately.
Okay, so you want to move that motion?
Yes, please.
And do we have a seconder for that motion? We have a seconder for that motion? Councillor McConnell, there you go. Okay, now, do we have discussion before we vote or? Yes, okay, so now, go ahead, Mary,
Okay.
then Justin.
All right, so first of all, it's a question, this Tri-County meeting that came up, did we invite the specific groups that were there? Or did we put the call out and say you can come and present again?
So I think this was Augusta's idea to have the tri-council.
Okay,
So they would have done one of those two things.
okay, so we go. So what I heard differently from Prescott Family Health Team, which I didn't know, was that they put in $20,000 annually for their staff wellness component. So to make sure that their staff are happy and healthy and wanting to help the community, not get stressed out, that they're well supported. And right now we're getting into some pretty positive signs about physician recruitment. And there have been some physicians that have come to Prescott to have a look and discuss. And I feel that a lot of them are going to want to go to towns like Kingston and Brockville that have hospitals. But if we can show that we have the support of the town of Prescott behind them in terms of this wellness program, I think it would give us a leg up for some of those physician decisions. So I'm suggesting that we give them, 2 years ago, we gave them $500. I'm suggesting we give between $500 and $1,000 to them this time to run their wellness day.
Justin?
Yeah, I should have put my hand up earlier because I just wanted to speak on kind of like Ray did and just say that, we had the 21 applicants and some didn't get anything at all, right? It doesn't mean that it's not important to them. In my opinion, it just didn't meet the guidelines of the community grant application. They didn't check all the boxes or enough boxes. And so that's kind of, I should have said that earlier. For me, that's kind of where that stands. Now, when you made this amendment, you referred to the in-kind, but there was a request originally that was for money, which we turned down in the grant working group. I think, there's other groups in here that didn't get anything and, it almost feels like we're making a special situation now for one of the groups that got denied at the working group.
Mm.
So I mean, what's to say that, you know, for me, it looks bad, just to be clear, right? I have a tough time thinking $1,000 breaks or makes their working wellness lunch or day. Speaking from part owner of a business, right? We have a health and wellness day where we fly down to Florida, we fly to Texas, and we take employees out. And we're not in the healthcare sector, so sure, there's a lot less dollars there. But, you know, for me, I also, if I remember correctly, when we gave this group money to help offset operations, part of that was that they couldn't request money during a 3-year term, I believe. So that's why I believe last year we didn't give them anything, was because of that.
The rent.
Towards their operation or whatever it was for, that we agreed to give them. And I believe the other municipalities also gave them money during that time also. So that's kind of where, for me, it didn't make sense, right? The in-kind was one thing, but the money kind of was a red line for me based on what I understand to be in that motion made about, I think, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Maybe I'll just ask Matthew if you could just clarify that. Do you remember, I think when we signed the program to help them cover their rental expenses, one of the provisions in that agreement was that they couldn't ask for more money and other things. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's what you're referring to.
Right.
And I think all three communities,
3 years?
yeah, I think it was 3 years.
Yes.
But if they get a position, then it's canceled. Right? But now, if they get a physician this summer, like we're hoping they will, then maybe next year we can relook at the community grant thing. But, or the employee recognition day. But I don't think any of the 3 municipalities, if I remember correctly, didn't give money for their luncheon last year, because they all gave money towards their rent. Councillor McConnell?
Thank you, Mayor Shankar. I'm obviously wasn't a part of this working group, although I have been many other years. My recollection of our agreement a couple of years ago with the physicians group was the way that it was done did not preclude them asking for money for this particular event that they have. Matthew has indicated that it did. My memory is not the greatest, I will admit. I would be interested to see if he can actually quote from the agreement that portion that precludes them from asking. I usually tend to go along with whatever the committee has decided, because as a member of that committee and as somebody who has put in several hours reaching these decisions, and it's never very easy, I do appreciate council going along with the decisions that we have made. Now, we've heard from one member who is in favor of doing something extra. We've heard from one member who is not. I believe we should all hear from the third member to see how he feels about it. And I would like to hear from Matthew if he can come up with the wording in regards to the either allowing or exclusion, because that might decide the issue right there. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray, did you want to say anything?
Excuse me. No, we discussed it at the meeting. We chose not to give them money. I didn't see anything on Thursday night that would change my mind.
Great, thank you. Matthew?
So I can speak to the agreement, and you are correct. The agreement is with the family health team doctors as opposed to the family health team. When I had a chance to go through the presentation that they provided last Thursday, I did note that as in the first year, between the first and second year, we gave 1,000 in the first and 500 in the second. The doctors picked up the additional amount. In the year between, though, we gave 500 and then we gave nothing, the doctors picked up the additional amount. So while the family health team is the one that's making the request, the benefit does go back to the physicians. That does have the preclusion of not receiving any additional funding. So it's an exceedingly convoluted situation.
It's a shell game, right? Okay, anything further to this? Because there is a motion and a seconder on the table to amend it. So can you just read the motion one more time?
Yes.
Or the amended motion?
I'm prepared.
Got it?
However council chooses to proceed. So the motion is whether or not, the motion to amend the main motion is to remove the Prescott Family Health Team allocation of $360 in kind to be considered separately. Councillor Campbell has moved that and it's been seconded by Councillor McConnell. If this motion were successful, then a subsequent motion to deem an additional amount would have to be contemplated as well. So I do have that prepared should council wish, but first would be whether or not you want to deal with an additional amount and vote on their allocation separately.
Okay. All right, so we will call the question. All those in favor of the amended motion? Ms. Campbell? All those opposed? Opposed, okay. So that's defeated. So we go back to our original motion.
Thank you very much for discussing this.
Yeah.
I just really wanted a discussion on it, so thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, so we have our original motion moved by Councillor Burton and seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, there's no resolutions tonight. There are a few bylaws. First one is bylaw 19-2026, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 09-2009 as amended, being a bylaw to regulate the use of land, buildings, and structures within the town of Prescott, be read and passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, and sealed by the seal of the corporation. Mover and seconder, Councillor Kirkby and Councillor Burton, thank you. All in favor? Carried, thank you. The next one is bylaw 20-2026, being a bylaw to adopt an amendment to the town of Prescott official plan pursuant to sections 17 and 21 of the Planning Act 1990, as amended in respect to a parcel of land within the town of Prescott, file number OPA 2025-001, be read and passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, and sealed by the seal of the corporation. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kirkby, Councillor McConnell, okay. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, there's no new business tonight, no notices of motion. Ooh, no mayor's proclamation. Any media questions? No media questions. So we're going to move into closed session at 7:09 p.m. to discuss matters pertaining to closed session minutes. And then 19.2 is potential litigation under section 239(2)E under the Municipal Act, litigation or potential litigation, and that the CAO, treasurer, director, administration clerk, and deputy clerk remain in the room. Mover and seconder for that, please. Councillor Campbell and Councillor Kirk.